Well, good afternoon. This is snivithefox, and I was going to do a short, if I can make it, playthrough of Castle of the Winds, Part 2, which is also known as Lifthransir's Bane. So this was released in the, 1993 end of the development of the game. And yeah, I'm kind of excited about it just because I made a playthrough of the earlier one and never went back and finished it. Or rather, I did, and actually had some problems trying to make that happen. There was a save file that, well, I don't want to spoil too much of the game, but anyway, didn't go so well. It was, yeah, it was pretty far into the game. I just overwrote it a minute ago, but yeah, I was basically coming back from the very end of the game, and it wouldn't let me, move up one of the dungeon levels, so the game file was corrupted or something like that. Too bad, but nonetheless, I think I am able to start over from the end of part 1 where I was. And so what I'm going to do is find that old save file. Yeah, I think that this is the one. And see if we can start over. Anyway. Yep, this is part 2. So the end of the part 1, basically, to summarize the entire story, actually, we are an orphan that was living with his godparents and realizes at the beginning of the game that his godparents were killed by somebody and he wants to get revenge, so he goes to the nearby mines and figures out that by the time he gets to the bottom of the mines, that the order to kill your godparents came from somebody else. So he goes to the nearby town, and he goes through that small little mine / castle, and gets to the bottom of that area, and figures out that, lo and behold, the order actually didn't come from the guy in that castle. It came from the guy in the Castle of the Winds, which is where you are going now. So anyway, hopefully this is a little bit comprehensive, but I don't like talking too much about the details. It's a really fun game. You got to get into it, and enjoy it, whatnot. Let's see. Yeah, so we're level 7, I believe. Hit points at 51, Bane at 32. And our dexterity isn't very high either. So eventually we're going to have to do something about that. But in the meantime, we're starting off the game. And yeah, so as you activate this amulet a second time, you feel it begin to glow once more with occult power. The aura surrounds you, but this time the feeling is different. You look at the amulet in your hands and realize your body is becoming transparent, as if losing contact with the material plane. As the world about you fades, you get a sense of weightlessness, followed by massive acceleration, as if you're covering hundreds of leagues in but an instant. You smell the blood pounding in your veins as the sensation of speed stops as suddenly as it began. Your head spins for a moment, and when you regain your balance, you find your body is solid once more. You open your eyes and find yourself in the middle of a small city. To the west is the central keep of the city. To the east, you see an avenue of shops. To the south, you see fountains in the familiar shape of the Temple of Odin. You turn about, taking a moment to orient yourself, until at last you look to the north. You gasp in awe as you see at last the massive ruins of the Castle of the Winds, where the shade of your grandfather awaits your arrival. But first you think, maybe you'll stop in and speak to the Jarl. He may be able to help you. So, yeah, we are, an interesting Microsoft icon of a character. You don't really have that many choices. It's this one or the female one at the beginning of the game. We are playing on experts only. It doesn't really make much of a difference. And we're close to getting level 8. We have as many spells, I think, as we can get. So we have like Cold Ball and Fireball, but eventually the mana costs go down as you get further into the game. It's very good to be thorough. So this is what he was talking about, is in the Temple of Odin. You can enter it and basically do things like remove curse or rune of return. And neither of these are helpful at the moment because we're healthy, but there's also the bank. And they ask you if you want to deposit your money. That basically just takes care of all the physical money you may be carrying around on you. And once you do get into this game, you realize with smirking sneak thieves all the time, it's actually really helpful to basically empty everything in your purse out and make it into just letters of receipt, because they can't steal that, but they can steal all your physical currency. Then you have to track down the sneak thieves and actually kill them in order to get the money back. Anyway, but we start out with some pretty good armor. Chainmail, the amulet, which is actually resistant to drain life, very important. You can get resistances like cold, fire, lightning. But this one actually is very helpful, like when you're fighting vampires and things like that. That way you don't get, your health decreased. The only way to remove those temporary effects is to go to the Temple of Odin. You can't sleep or rest them off. It does have weight, but it's a really good one to have. It's also kind of classic. Just goes around you somehow. Cape of Protection, I think that's probably the best one you can get when you're in the part 1 of the game, but you can get a even better one in this part. And the best helmet you can probably get in terms of armor value is an enchanted meteoric steel helm, with very strongly increases character's armor value, but we just have a normal one. Medium steel shield, that's pretty decent right now. Gauntlets of Slaying, we don't have a second item, but we have rings, utility, levitation boots. We're going to need boots of speed once we can find some of them. This is a Gearmund the Sage, which basically lets you identify stuff. And all you do is, drop it in there and he'll identify it, but there's no point in identifying something you already have. This is the Castle Olaf's Junk Store. Get rid of your cursed items and things like that. So anyway, first thing they want you to do is go into this small little castle where the Jarl is. It's not very big, but it doesn't really matter. As you attempt to enter the keep, a burly guard stops you and demands your identity. Briefly consider concocting some story, but decide to tell the truth. I'm King Lifthransir's grandchild, and I would like to speak to the Jarl. Your face goes red as the guard bursts out laughing. Ha, another one. Sorry, youngster, but the Jarl doesn't have time to talk to every pretender to the throne. He's busy enough trying to handle the creatures that sneak out and capture or kidnap peasants. Do something about them, and maybe he'll talk to you. Annoyed and frustrated, you turn to leave, but you'll come back soon and make him eat his words. Oh, yes. Okay, so first thing, we've got 70k. What we're looking for is things to increase, first of all, your strength, intelligence, constitution, and dexterity. Also, better versions of everything that we have, except our large chest is the best we can already get. And the utility belt is probably the best we can get as well. So, don't really need these. We can rest and do other things in order to get our stuff back, our mana and health. So we're not going to worry about those just yet. This is a Castle Gunner's weapon shop. So this one's got some enchanted weapons. Yeah, ours is better, but regardless, we're looking for something really good, not something just kind of good. Clairvoyance, spells, divination. We already have clairvoyance, so detect objects I think we already have as well. Yeah, we do. Okay, so neither one of those are very useful. Yeah, we already have all that. Biner the Strong's armor shop. Okay. Studded, when wielded, makes resistant to lightning. That's kind of useful. But also kind of expensive. They'd take away 1/3 of our money right off the bat. Large steel shield very strongly increases the character's armor value. Now that's very good. It would be a significant boost to our armor right off the top. But generally gauntlets of slaying. These are better slaying gauntlets. Okay, so we're going to replace both of these, I think. Sell that. Take the slaying gauntlets. Medium steel shield. Large steel shield. So now our character's armor value is 104. And just to be safe, we're going to start a new save game. We call it our last one Epic, I think. Anyway, call it Epic 2. Yep. Game saved. Okay. So the next one, another scroll and potion shop. Detect monsters, transmogrify monster. Map level. Okay. So these are actually really useful. I've got 55,000, so I'm gonna take a couple of them. Red Dragon Blood is useful, kind of. It makes you resistant to fire and vulnerable to cold, but I don't know. It's kind of weird. Hand axe strongly resistant to fire. So that's a good one. Enchanted against giants. Now these are especially good. Ones that not only very strongly increase all 3 categories, but are enchanted against an element like giants, elementals, whatever. We don't get much into giants at the beginning of the game though, so I think we can afford to not have to get that one. Although my battle axe is pretty wimpy. We'll find better stuff along the way. Constitution, intelligence, protection. Yeah, okay. Map quadrant. Okay, those are useful too, but okay. Well, that's all of our stuff that we can do now. So what we do first, okay, we exit the castle. There's a small little river that we cross with fields and other stuff like that. And follow the road. You check your map. See, there's nothing else really here. And we enter this. It says you feel a chill run down your spine as you pass under the archway. That plays every time you enter the castle. So as for spells, I've got Magic Arrow, fairly cheap. Cold Ball. Have Phase Door, which is good for getting away from monsters. Detect objects. Light. Identify is a must, so might as well keep it on this one. Rune of Return. Levitation. gets you out of accidentally falling into trapdoors. Oh yeah, detect traps. That's also a useful one. So I'm going to save the game once more because we're about to run into our first monsters. Cast light in the rooms we go into. And we found a rat man. Hit the rat man. Now we're going to use whatever we can. This is just going to be magic arrows, your single target spells. And now we got 11 pieces of copper and a wand. And now we can sleep until we restore our mana. That also restores our health because health is a far smaller, what is it? Takes a lot less time in order to get. Now our speed's down because we started picking up more stuff, but eventually we'll get our dexterity up. Eventually. Now let's see if we can detect traps. Okay, so there are traps. I don't think that there's any in here. Okay, we walk past here. There's a barrier, so we can't actually go there yet. Here's an ogre. Huge ogre, that is. We'll use cold ball, and then that. And we also have a suit of chainmail. Sleep again. We use light. There's a carrion creeper. So now we injure the carrion creeper. See what we can do, and that killed it. So now we've taken out the monsters in both of the side rooms and the what is this? I don't know, like a bedroom or something. It has a bunch of tables in it. You know what I should do? I should customize my spell menu again. Let's see what we can do. Okay. I just like doing that in case. I mean, I've played the game before, but it's helpful. Okay, so there's light in this room. You see a shadowy figure on the throne who motions you to come closer. I'm just gonna leave. No, just kidding. We've got columns, so this is obviously the throne room. That's the shade of King Lifthransir. Shade of King Lifthransir speaks to you. At last, my child, thou hast come to avenge me. For 18 long years I have awaited thy coming. Thy father has told thee some of our family's doom. How I rue the day I listened to Loki's words. A helm of great power he promised me, one that would make the wind and storm do my bidding. Little did he mention that the helm was stolen. I, my child, from the treasure room of mighty Thor himself. Nor did he mention that Surtur, the demon lord of fiery, Okay, I thought this was fiery. This fury Muspelheim coveted the helm for himself, and would league with the giants against me. Soon after I received the helm, and long before I had mastered its use, an army of giants invaded this, our mountain home. They came from the mountains around us, and even from the caverns below, hill giants, rough as the mountain winds, wilds, stone giants, strong as the rocks they are named for, frost giants, children of ancient Ymir, and the fire giants, those closest to Surtur himself. They came, led by their kings. With them came devils from Muspelheim. Even now they roam the lower depths, so beware their might. Yeah, I'm not very certain of what Muspelheim is, except that there's a lot of different parts of Norse mythology, and there's, I don't know, different realms where different giants and other beings lurk or live. For a day and a night the battle raged, and many heroes fell before the onslaught of Surtur's hell-spawned minions. At last we could hold out no longer, and the final barricades were breached. The last few survivors gathered here in the throne room to await their doom. Some despaired and took their own lives rather than to submit to the whims of the victors, but most prepared to fight to the last. A troop of fire giants marched into this great hall, followed by 2 of the abyss devils that served as Surtur's captains. Then the hall became brighter, as if a small sun were moving up the corridor towards us, and a glowing figure wielding a flaming sword entered. It was the dread Surtur himself who approached my throne and demanded the Helm of Storms. I cursed his name and declared that while he might take my life, and the helm as well, one of my line would return to banish him from Midgard. And so it was, for he slew me with his sword of fire, took the helm, and doomed me to roam Midgard as a spirit for as long as he remained. Many are the challenges that face thee, ere thou recoverest the Helm of Storms, and returnst it to Thor. But recover it thou must, lest the evil of Surtur and his giant minions gains a permanent hold on Midgard, and Ragnarok comes early. I have removed the wall of force that blocks entry to the dungeon. Go now and avenge the wrongs done thy family. So, your father, I believe, was in the room when they invaded and took the helm. So now I believe it's time to exit the Castle of the Winds, go back and see if we can identify, detect traps, and a normal suit of chainmail. So now we can probably go back and check out the stuff being offered once more. We don't really need detect traps. It's good to have money earlier on in the game anyway. Do we have detect monsters? We don't. I guess I'll be taking that. Yeah. Small iron, steel, bracers. That's our slaying gauntlets. Another map level. Kind of useful. Yeah. I'm just very hesitant to take hand axes when I have a battle axe, and it's just more useful to find something that fills all of your needs. This axe might be really good. Weight 2,000, bulk 5,000. I'll check the other stores before I actually do that. Intelligence, protection. strength. Okay, now to sell the chainmail. I'm right, actually, this is a big upgrade from our battle axe. And yeah, so I think we will take that, sell our battle axe. It's only worth like that much. And we'll look for better stuff along the way. So, hope you guys are enjoying this, and I will plan on continuing this playthrough. Anyway, see y'all later.